Happy National Scotch Day, which was on the 27th. So, time for some Oban 14. Welcome to KIllco Whiskey Musings. My name is Brian, and we have a very special scotch for today. Yet another donation because people are awesome in the Whiskey 2 community. This one is from Cliff. You're going to hear a lot about Cliff's donation because he gave me quite a few. Thank you, Cliff. You're amazing. I often wonder why somebody somewhere was like, you know what? Let's put these bottles in a tube because reasons. I know it's a selling point. It makes it look super fancy. People like fancy. Why do they always have to come off early? This part's always nice. Don't know what it is about that sound, man. Oh, neck pour, for the record, obviously, if that means anything to you. And this is not a new pour for me. I have had this before, and I already know I like it. But I wanted to go over it for National Scotch Day. Now, the color on this is just wonderful. Especially for a Scotch. Usually they don't seem like they're this dark. I'd say this is almost copper color. The clarity to me, it looks like it's clear. Most of these are. I'm still waiting to see a hazy one. I do not see any sediments, and the viscosity isn't that high. But it's there. I mean, legs are just an interesting thing to look at, honestly. I don't know if that legs comment sounded quite right. She's got legs. Ah, crap, that song's stuck in my head now. And as for the alcohol percentage, this is 43%. There's always a strange moment when I actually know what the smell and taste is already. And going over it officially feels interesting, we'll say. Now that we have gone over the color, we will begin the nosing technique. Ooh, whoa. It's funny, that was not what I expected. Now this is a single malt Scotch whiskey from the West Highlands, which is interesting because it does have a slight peatiness to it. But for me, who is somewhat accustomed to peat, and this is again a light one, I seem to be getting a fair amount of fresh fruit, like fresh ripe fruit, plums, bit of citrus, some honey. Ooh, it's making me think of the ocean. It's got this sea salt smell. Oh man, this is a fun one. I feel like there's something floral? I'm kind of tossing back and forth floral or perfume. I believe floral sounds best. And there's some kind of green note, which is making me think floral. I'm also thinking about a summer's day. Man, this is bizarre. I find it interesting when you're nosing a whiskey where your mind can go. Oftentimes you're kind of taken away by your memories just by smelling whiskey. And that's part of the joy of doing it, for me at least. Yeah, this has me walking down the beach on a summer day. And for some reason there's some woods nearby with some flowers and apparently some ripe fruits and berries. And a little of the apple as well. Something soft about the smell of it. Cinnamon and hazelnut? Where the heck did hazelnut come from? On to our official nosing chart. The intensity, I will go with 2. Age, well, that's a tough one actually. With scotches, this is moderate. But a lot of bourbons, 10 years is right where they want it. And though there certainly are other bourbons that go longer than 10 years, it's not as common. Where scotches, they can go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 40 years. It's crazy. Barrel, I will say used oak, but that's just kind of a default feeling. That's the little I know about Scotch, is they often use used bourbon barrels. For this one specifically, don't know. At least not at the moment of recording. I will probably put something down here somewhere, I hope. Grain, 100% malted barley, since it is a single malt. Smoke on this is actually very light. Compared to a lot of the peated scotches I've had, this is almost non-existent to me. Though I'm curious as to what a person who is not accustomed to peated scotch would feel about the smell of this one. Going for the spices. I was debating if I got black pepper. I can also be convinced of clove or cinnamon. Maybe even new leather. Sweet. There was a honey feeling. You know what? Fig or raisin would be good, but you know, the more I'm doing this, the more it's opening up. So at first I thought it was ripe fruits. But now I'm starting to wonder if it's dried fruits like raisins or fig. I don't like raisins, as I've said before on my videos. So that I feel would be prominent. I feel like this is more of a fig thing, if at all. Floral is one I really need to work on someday. I vaguely remember what roses smell like. I don't exactly remember what honeysuckle smells like. Or geranium. Pine I know. That's like a Christmas thing. Though this does have a slight floral note, I do not know what kind of flower it is. Wine, I will say, no, I'm not getting any wine, but this is another category where I definitely need to explore wines at some point in my life. Fruit, oh, apple, you are there. Maybe a slight lemon, actually. Blackberry just crossed my mind. Apricot. Again, like I said earlier, there seems to be a lot of fresh fruit initially. And this is really one I could just live in the smell for a long time. Sulfur, I am not getting of the sulfur notes that are listed here. As I said, it's lightly peated. Speaking of peat, in this one, a very slight iodine, or possibly medicinal. I'm not really leaning toward the medicinal because I always equate that with like the smell of a hospital. Earth, I actually want to say brine and moss as well. To sum up, this whiskey seems to make me think I am walking along a beach near a forest that is full of ripe fruits on a summer day. On to the palate. Hello, old friend. I was feeling right here. Right here. From now on in my videos, I believe I'm going to do the first sip as just me having a sip and my initial reaction, and then I will go on to the second sip where I will hold it on my tongue and then analyze it. I just want to enjoy that first sip and not think at all about it. Ooh, there we go. A little bit of peppery spice. There's some nice fruit notes, but they're very subtle. It's nothing like the actual smell. Peppery, we got some tongue tingles going on. Love it. It's good mouthfeel, it's coating everything. And it gets a little dry at the end. And the finish is interesting. There's almost a slight dry feeling on the middle of my tongue, and the rest is just almost oily. As far as fruits for the taste, there is a very slight lemon or orange citrus, but that's all I seem to be getting. Official palate time. The flavor, I'll say, is initially sweet and then just a hint of salt. Proof will be 2, as low is 40% to me and high is 60% and above. Body, I will give a 3. Texture is weirding me out. I initially want to say light, but it does have a certain creaminess to it, which I can't place very well. Okay, I had to think about that for a while, but the joys of editing will take that away. However, I got something. It is similar to tea with little milk in it. That's the texture. I feel this is very well balanced, actually. It's asking me here, does any element dominate? And I have to say no. It has progression and then a lingering finish. So, as I've done this hand gesture many times, starts out very interesting, then gets a little bit spicy, and then it cools off and dries the tongue just a bit. Finish, I will go with 4, since it's not staying around forever, but it is lingering. Complexity on this, I will go 3. I feel like there's certainly more fruit notes I could get out of this, but in general, it goes fruit, spice, dry, and a little bit of oak. And now for the official notes, I am getting this from obanwhiskey.com. Oh, I love this. Flavors of orange peel, smoke, sea salt, and honey distinguish this full-bodied Highland malt. Palate, dried fig, spice, and a smoked malt dryness. Scent, that's different. Fresh oranges, lemon and pear, with a hint of salt and peat. Finish, long, smooth, and oaky sweet with a grain of salt. And it says the body is full. I would disagree, but that's fine. I have to say, I'm very pleased with how my tasting notes compare to the official tasting notes, and this is a friend of mine at this point. I hope you can get your hands on it. The price tends to be kind of expensive. In my area specifically, it is about $75. Thus, why I wouldn't be able to afford to buy this myself. But thanks to donations and from the epic person known as Cliff, I am able to have a bottle of this for my very own. If you're interested in sending me bottles or sample, there is information in the About tab, and you can email me or contact me on Instagram. And there you have it, folks. This was my pour for National Scotch Day. I hope some of you out there who are not accustomed to scotches will try some at some point. Well, clearly not today, but on the posting of this video, maybe go to a bar, try a scotch that catches your eye, and see what happens. Until next time, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you out there. Thank you for joining me on KIllco Whiskey Musings. You can find my social media and Patreon in the links below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.